Picture this. You're standing in your bedroom right now, looking around at all your stuff. That new phone sitting on your dresser. Those shoes you saved up for months to buy. That gaming console collecting dust in the corner. We live in a world that constantly tells us more is better, bigger is best, and the next purchase will finally make us happy.
But here's what nobody talks about. The secret to a truly fulfilling life isn't found in accumulating more things. It's found in extracting maximum value, joy, and purpose from what you already have. The small possessions scattered throughout your life right now hold untapped potential that most people never discover.
Think about it. How many items do you own that you've barely used? How many purchases seemed exciting for a week before becoming invisible background noise in your daily routine? Most of us are guilty of this. We collect things, store them, forget about them, and then go shopping for something new to fill a void that more stuff will never actually fill. The truth is, your small possessions can become the foundation of an incredible life. Not because they're expensive or impressive, but because of how you choose to use them. This isn't about minimalism or decluttering, though those concepts play a role. This is about transformation. It's about taking the ordinary objects in your life and turning them into tools for growth, creativity, connection, and genuine happiness. Let's start with a fundamental shift in perspective. Every item you own represents three things: time, money, and intention. When you bought that camera, that book, that art supply, or that fitness equipment, you made a decision. You exchanged hours of your life, converted into money, for that object. You had intentions, dreams, or goals associated with it. The question is, are you honoring that investment? Most people aren't. That guitar gathering dust in the closet represents not just money spent, but dreams of making music, of expressing yourself creatively, of maybe even playing for friends or performing someday. That journal you bought to start writing represents a desire to understand yourself better, to capture your thoughts, to maybe write that book you've always talked about. These aren't just objects. They're frozen dreams waiting to be thought out and brought to life. Here's where the magic begins. When you start actively engaging with your small possessions, they stop being things and start becoming extensions of who you are and who you want to become. That cheap keyboard you bought on sale becomes your daily practice instrument. Those running shoes become your ticket to morning clarity and physical health. That cookbook becomes your gateway to mastering a valuable life skill and nourishing yourself and others. The Japanese have a concept called tsukumogami, which suggests that objects gain souls after being used and loved for many years. While that's folklore, there's profound truth in the underlying principle. Objects become meaningful through use, through relationship, through the memories and experiences we associate with them. A simple coffee mug becomes precious when it's the one you use every morning during your peaceful pre-dawn routine. A worn notebook becomes valuable when it contains your breakthrough ideas and personal revelations. So how do you actually turn your small possessions into the main part of your life? It starts with conscious curation and intentional engagement. Walk through your living space right now, mentally or physically. Look at everything you own with fresh eyes. Ask yourself, what am I not using that could add genuine value to my daily existence? Maybe you have art supplies you haven't touched in months. What if you committed to 15 minutes of creative expression every single day? It doesn't matter if what you create is good. What matters is the practice of creation, the mental space it opens up, the stress it relieves, the unique perspective it develops. That box of watercolors and paper could become your daily meditation practice, your therapy session, your way of processing emotions that words can't capture. Consider the books on your shelf. How many have you bought with the best intentions but never read? Each one represents knowledge, perspective, entertainment, or wisdom that you wanted in your life? What if you chose one and committed to reading just 10 pages every morning? In a month, you'd finish a 300-page book. In a year, you'd have read 12 books, absorbing ideas that could fundamentally change how you think, work, and live. Those dormant books could become your personal university, educating you in exactly the subjects you've always been curious about. Think about your kitchen equipment. Most people use about 20% of what they own in their kitchens. That bread maker, that slow cooker, that fancy knife set, those specialty pans. What if cooking became not just a necessity, but a practice? A daily ritual where you nourish yourself, experiment with flavors, develop genuine skill, and create moments of sensory pleasure. Your kitchen tools could transform from cluttered cabinet stuffers into instruments of daily joy and self-care. The same principle applies to fitness equipment. That yoga mat, those dumbbells, that jump rope, that resistance band, these aren't expensive gym necessities. They're freedom. They're the ability to take care of your physical body without subscriptions, without commutes, without excuses. 10 minutes a day with simple equipment can build strength, flexibility, and discipline that ripples into every other area of your life. Here's what happens when you start actively using your small possessions. They create structure, routine, and identity. When you use that journal every morning, you become someone who journals. When you play that instrument daily, you become a musician. When you cook with those tools regularly, you become someone who cooks. These aren't just activities, they're identity shifts that compound over time into genuine transformation. Your possessions also become bridges to connection with others. That board game collecting dust could become weekly game night with friends, creating memories and strengthening relationships. Those camping supplies could facilitate adventures in nature with family or friends, building bonds through shared experiences. That extra set of art supplies could be your invitation to a friend to create alongside you, turning solitary hobbies into connected experiences. There's also an economic dimension worth considering. When you fully utilize what you own, you stop constantly seeking the next purchase. That restless consumer energy gets redirected into mastery and appreciation. You save money not by deprivation, but by satisfaction. You discover that the happiness you were chasing through shopping was actually available through engagement with what you already had. Let's talk about the practice of single tasking with your possessions. In our distracted world, we rarely give anything our full attention. But what if you used that nice camera you bought and actually learned photography, dedicating focused time to understanding composition, lighting, and storytelling through images? What if you used those language learning materials and actually committed to fluency, practicing deliberately every single day? The depth of engagement transforms both the experience and the outcome. Create systems that integrate your possessions into your daily routines. Put that book on your nightstand so it's the last thing you see before sleep and the first thing you see upon waking. Hang that guitar on the wall where you'll see it and be reminded to play. Set out your yoga mat the night before so it's ready for your morning practice. Environmental design makes engagement easier and more automatic. Document your journey with these possessions. Take photos of the meals you cook, the art you create, the places you explore with your camera or hiking gear. This isn't about social media validation. It's about creating a personal record of your engagement with life. When you look back and see months of daily creative work, completed projects, developed skills, and rich experiences, you'll understand viscerally how your small possessions became vehicles for a life well lived. Here's something crucial. It's okay to let go of possessions that don't serve you anymore. Not everything needs to be used. Not everything sparks joy or aligns with who you are now. The point isn't to force yourself to use everything you own. The point is to identify what genuinely could add value to your life and then commit to that engagement. Donate, sell, or give away the rest. Clear space for what matters. The transformation from consumer to creator, from accumulator to practitioner, happens gradually. Start small. Choose one possession you've been ignoring. Commit to using it daily for 30 days. Notice what happens. Notice how your relationship with it changes. Notice how you change. Notice the skills you develop, the routines you establish, the satisfaction you feel. Your small possessions are waiting to become the main part of your life, not because they're special objects, but because you have the power to make them special through use, through attention, through the meaning you create around them. That guitar becomes the soundtrack of your evenings. That journal becomes the repository of your evolving thoughts. Those running shoes become your vehicle for daily renewal. Those cooking tools become your way of showing love to yourself and others. This is how you turn possessions into a life, not by having more, but by using what you have with intention, consistency, and presence. Your things become the scaffolding around which you build routines, develop skills, create experiences, and ultimately construct a life of depth and meaning. The power was always there, in those small objects scattered throughout your space. You just needed to see them differently and engage with them fully. The life you want isn't waiting in your next purchase. It's waiting in your consistent, intentional use of what you already have.